am hard at work on the next episode of Vixen Park, but I'm still looking to try and get out some content in between those updates, beyond just sneak previews. Right now, I don't expect these behind-the-scenes looks to get all that much traction, but I also don't want you all to completely forget about the channel while awaiting the next episode to drop. By far, my most popular video to date is the one where Isla Grace transforms into a fox for the first time. It should be pretty obvious that it will not be the only time this happens throughout the run of the series, and I'm hopeful that each subsequent transformation will look better than the one before. With all that in mind, I wanted to take a little time to dive a little bit deeper into her affliction. Now, when you create a story about a woman who can turn into a fox, there are some primary decisions that have to be made right off the bat. The same is true with nearly every story, of course. Namely, who, what, when, where, why, and how. The who
protagonist
and the what.
She's a fox. In France, she would be called La Renarde, and she would be hunted with only her cunning to protect her.
Are both pretty self-evident here. The when.
Okay, it's Friday, it's 10:30, it's time to party.
And the where.
What's wrong with your face?
Have now been answered in the story as well. As for the why, well, the answer to that may take a little more time to reveal itself. The how that we're going to answer today is basically referring to the, let's say, style of Isla Grace's transformation. She's not being bippity-boppity-booed or alakazammed into a fox. She's not a fox trapped within a human where the animal just breaks through its human veneer. And she's not going to go through some amorphous blob stage on her way from point A to point B. This is meant to be as realistic as possible, keeping in mind that there's nothing remotely realistic about it in the first place. First of all, for the sake of the story, she has to be able to change back. So that lays down some ground rules right off the top.
I'm sorry to butt in here, but there are a few things I need to get off my chest on this. Ever since my condition made itself known, I've been looking into depictions and descriptions of transformations and were-animals in various media throughout the years. The things filmmakers and writers have gotten wrong when it compares to my personal experience could fill an entire library worth of books. For some of you, this will be old news. To others, you might be surprised just how, frankly, dumb some of these takes are. To each their own, of course, but some of these I just don't understand. Okay, first of all, to start with, my fur grows and then shrinks with each change. The hair on my head will do the inverse. Well, except in my hybrid form when it grows longer for some reason. But we're really not there yet. I don't shed all my fur when I change back, and I don't lose all my hair when I go full fox. That said, I do tend to shed at the same rate as a normal fox does, so it's not uncommon to find strands of my fur laying around when I've been doing vulpine things. The same goes for my teeth and nails. My teeth lengthen into fangs and my nails lengthen into claws. I can't just be dropping hair and teeth and fingernails all over the place every time I transform. It's ridiculous and rather unsanitary. The physiologies of a fox and a human are much more similar than you might initially think. My major organs remain in the same general locations no matter my form, and my skeleton contains a lot of the same bones and same bone structures. So when I go foxy, it's mostly just stretching and squashing. Let's see. Surprisingly enough, my nose doesn't take much to go from human to fox. My muzzle pressing forward is a bit more dramatic, obviously, but everything else is already in place to work with. My ears elongate, of course, and they move towards the top of my skull. I don't end up with 2 separate sets of ears. This may sound silly coming from me, but that's not how biology works. Okay, big issue here. My human knees don't suddenly reverse themselves when I change. Foxes have knees too, you know. Why would your knees reverse to become heels, and then you need to grow a new set of knees in the middle of your femur when you have a perfectly good set of knees and heels already to work with? That's just plain silly. As a fox, I have femurs, fibulas, and tibias as well. I often get asked what it feels like to change. Well, actually, there's a lot that goes on before I change. It's kind of like that feeling you get when you have to sneeze. Just take that and spread it throughout your entire body, but slow it way down. It can last minutes or hours, or, as with my first change, even days. And while I can control my changes now, it wasn't that way early on. And even now, admit, I sometimes have the need wash over me. And it's usually at the most inconvenient times and in the most inconvenient locations. The transformation itself is hard to describe. It's like a morning stretch after a hard workout the day before, maybe. Both a little bit painful and somewhat pleasurable at the same time. The pain isn't anywhere near as severe as you'd think. I mean, after all, does it hurt to clip your fingernails or get a haircut? Yeah, admittedly, the sounds of your bones and muscles and tendons and everything else stretching and squeezing is a bit unnerving. But in time, it's just like cracking your knuckles. It tends to bother others much more than it bothers you. Now, I've been told there are some things I should refrain from discussing here today, as they have not yet been addressed in the series. So my specific physical abilities, as well as some mental and emotional issues, will not be brought up at this time. That said, you have all already seen my 4 primary forms, if you watched the promos as well. I am human most of the time, of course. Then I have my hybrid form, as we call it, which is basically the 2-legged fox monster from episode 1. My full fox form was seen in one of the promos, and it's honestly not that different from my scarlet or big fox form, except that I'm significantly smaller and can't speak. Each of these forms is stable in and of itself, and I can go in between if I want, but I tend to lose some of the stability. It's similar to a set of stairs, if you will. Pretend that each of my main forms is a landing, while everything else is the stairs in between the landings. Each form offers different advantages and disadvantages, but again, we're not quite there yet. I believe at this point in the series I'm still just an oversized and scared talking fox. If the story is told accurately, we'll be remedying that soon.
That is correct. We will be remedying that soon. Anyway, I just felt it was a good idea to explain the thought process behind Isla Grace's transformations. As we get deeper into the story, I'll be doing other similar videos that may look into characters, groups of characters, different parts of world building, histories, and many other vague terms that I hope won't divulge too much of the story too soon. As this is more abstract and won't give away too much, I thought it best to walk through this door first. If any of you have any further questions you'd like me to address, please feel free to use the comment section. I'm more than happy to answer anything you wish, so long as it doesn't spoil the story moving forward. For now, it's time for me to get back to work on the next episode. I appreciate you guys sticking around.
Well, that was a rather pathetic ending. Do you not want new subscribers? All of you, please, take a look down below there. Is there a D at the end of the word subscribe? If so, awesome. Thank you. If not, please, be a friend and subscribe to our channel. One simple and easy move on your part will help do wonders for us moving forward.
Is that how you do it?
I don't know. I've never had a YouTube channel before. Sure as hell beats not asking them, though. I just want to get this damn fur out of my eyes.